Record. Recording in progress. Yeah, let me see if I can find that picture. Oops, that's really, really tiny.
Oh, it is.
Petroleum Product of the Week. I don't know who PSC is. Anyway, okay. Gas prices and all kinds of fun things. I like that one too. Oops, no. It's a, that's irritating. I wonder if it will. Oh, nope, that's the same one. Okay, we can introduce ourselves because my is not working. Yeah, just open it. Okay. Okay. Just do your thing. Here we are. Ta-da! Another one. Okay. I'm Dawnita Fogleman of prairiedusttrail.com. And this is our oldest, Kathryn White now.
Kathryn White now, yes.
Yes. I don't know if that means she's a traitor of the family. She has taken on a different name, or if she's, yeah, we just won't. See if we can get less outside junk, more inside junkiness. We are going to discuss oil and gas, which is kind of a pretty
hot topic depending on who you are talking to.
Definitely. Some of the information we're going to be getting off of the U.S. Energy Information Administration. If you do not know what that is, it's pretty interesting. They've got, you can actually sign up for a newsletter and get these like regular little updates and things. Whenever I was working for the local community newspaper, we had an oil and energy outlook that was a monthly insert in the newspaper, and it was kind of my pet baby. And since I left, it has died, or seems to have. It was a lot of fun. I had one of our U.S. senators. I interviewed him, and maybe once we get things going a little bit better, maybe we can get him on the podcast and or video at some point in time. That would be a lot of fun. As far as political stuff, we kind of run an in-between thing on yeah, we'll get there. We don't have a lot of stuff on YouTube yet. So if you're watching this on YouTube, number one, I'm kind of sorry, but number two, subscribe. We don't have enough subscribers yet at this point when we're doing this video to be able to do a live video. And it would be a lot of fun to have a chat thing. We are on the prairie. This is Northwest Oklahoma, and we're on a farm. So you may hear birds in the background, my husband on the tractor, the children playing with the dogs, or who knows what else. If something explodes, it's probably just a homeschool science experiment. It's okay. We haven't caused too many problems at this point. Okay, let's kind of kick this off. We've been wanting to do some fun stuff on here. We have some fun conversations in our family, and I keep trying to tell homeschoolers, don't be afraid of those hard topics with your children. So we have this thing that kind of went through Facebook. A friend of ours, and I whited out everybody's names and stuff just to keep everybody safe. And the IEA plan to reduce global oil demand, car-free Sundays in cities, use high-speed and night trains instead of planes, alternate private car access to roads in large cities. Okay, and the person that shared this, and this was the beginning of March 2022. Today is March 24th, 2022. So it took a little bit for Facebook to share this around and for me to get a hold of it and start a conversation. What he had to say about it was, think about this: no going to church, only go to work every other day, and take non-existent train instead of plane. So
I know, I was about to say, man, I'd sure like to take the train to Hawaii. That sounds fun.
well, I know out here, I mean, the closest commutes of that type would be Oklahoma City and Dallas. There's a lot of people that take either Southwest Airlines. There's regular everyday airplanes that go back and forth. And there is also an Amtrak that goes back and forth. And a lot of corporate people do that. So that's kind of a it is an option that people have in that area. It is something that they use. See if I can look at the right camera here. And that is something. Now, if I were one of those people and you told me I had to take the train instead of the plane, I would be motion sick in the train.
Yeah. Not to mention that like high speed trains in our part of the world, like Oklahoma and a large part of Texas and even New Mexico, I know, don't exist. Like you're traveling typically, you're flying at 50 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It takes me longer to ride a train from Dodge City, Kansas, which is the nearest train to us, by the way, where we are located.
Well, passenger train.
Passenger train. We're not talking about other trains, but just the nearest passenger train is Dodge City, Kansas to us. That's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. And it would take a day and a half for that train to get from Dodge City, Kansas to Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I could drive that in 8 hours.
Right.
And on top of that,
and do these people think that trains don't take?
That's where I was about to go into. A train, typically it does not take one train to pull cars, but two at minimum. Usually trains are about the size of 3 cars.
Okay. Engines are huge.
They're huge. They're huge. They're 3 cars long and about 2 deep.
Right.
Minimum.
And that's kind of part of that, so whenever I turned around and shared this, I'm like, and are they going to stop fox, leather, polyester, and plastic production?
Yeah.
A majority of oil production has nothing to do with travel.
Exactly.
So we'll go into that. I wanted to go through this conversation because it was, and like I said, I'm trying to be polite to the people who were commenting on my thing. So somebody said little tastes of communism, and my answer here, and you can find me on Facebook if you look really hard, but I went ahead and it's Dawnita, so you have to look real hard if you want to find me and troll me. If that's not what everybody's been experiencing for the past 2 years, I don't know what is. When people have to be licensed to legally work or sell their produce, well, that's where we are now. And seriously, I don't know about all the other states. In Oklahoma, you have to have a license to babysit. And that's been since the early 1990s. It's been since the 1990s because I used to babysit whenever Kathryn was a baby. So I did a home to babysit in my home. I had to be licensed. Okay. And I got in on it just at the beginning of that. And so, and then you have to have special licenses, certifications, or whatever in order to like sell eggs at a farmer's market and things like that. And all states have different things that they have to deal with. So if you have to have some kind of special license, certification, whatever, a special paper from the government that says that you are legal to do this, then that's not the republic that was built for us. We'll just say it that way. Right. Another person here, things don't make sense. I'm beginning to wonder if, quote unquote, they know something we don't. Is our planet running out of oil? Why such a hard push to get off oil so fast? Which, I mean, they've been trying this for a long time, and we don't need to lose our freedoms over it. They could make oil dependency less by giving us choices with cheaper alternatives, which we'll talk about that too. But they won't, because of greed and love of money and power. Slavery isn't gone, never was. They just gave it a new face. And I started answering him before I actually even read the whole thing. So no, they're not running out. I can say that definitively. We live in the middle of oil country. I will show you that here in a second too. And I was born with one foot in the oil field. So was Kathryn. Ag and oil are our livelihood. It's our thing out here. Money is a money issue. Someone's making a mint off of refining and selling byproducts. We have plenty to be self-sufficient, and I totally believe that. And I'm pretty sure I can prove it. But that's not profitable. You're so right. Slavery was never gone. It just changed faces. And he said, yeah, something just doesn't feel right. Another person, and I'm loving this conversation, and people wonder why we're resistant to some of the nonsense. Everything online, work from home, no cash, no cars, no commuting, all part of the Great Reset. We may not go into that in this one. I know that the Great Reset has become a buzzword situation at this point, and I don't think a lot of people really understand the depth of what that means. And we will talk about that in another video.
Yeah, if you don't listen to Glenn Beck, then you have no idea what the Great Reset is talking
and
about.
I don't listen to Glenn Beck, but I still know what the Great Reset, and I probably know it at a different angle. So we will definitely discuss that one at another time. These ideas are only applicable in high density populations. This is another person commenting. I put them in different colors. The East and West Coast, basically, these plans and ideas do not account for people that live in rural areas. They have no idea of the realities of rural America. Furthermore, they don't care, which I have to agree. Even in Oklahoma, we have that problem. Oklahoma is considered rural, but
that's the thing, though. Whenever they put rules onto somebody in California, then peeps in California get mad whenever those same rules aren't applied to us out here. And then also you still that list of ideas for reducing oil consumption is ridiculous, even for my friends that live, say, in New Jersey. It just, if you have a job like as a therapist or factory or something where you really need to be there in person. I guess therapists don't have to be in person anymore, but sometimes, like, if you're
working, many things don't have to be in person anymore.
But if you're working with like autistic kids or something like that, you can't do a computer. You have to be there in person with them. Yeah. And if you're going, oh, well, I have to schedule you guys every other day now, so now I'm only making half the money. You're hitting me harder.
And your child doesn't have any consistency. And yes, when you're talking about like an autistic or a special needs situation, you need consistency. That's what's really important for them. Right. Yeah, I loved this last one. That's the problem. They get the highly populated area to follow majority. Then they can get votes and pass more and more restrictive laws. Freedoms decreasing the entire time. The quote unquote oil shortage is yet another cover up for something, because we're no longer scared of it. I'm not going to say what it is, because we're just going to get hit before we even get started on
of the it.
We're no longer listening to their mandates. So I have to agree, and this particular person is medical personnel. I'm not going to say any more than that, but a lot of them are seeing what's going on. So let's see where I was at. Okay, I'm just going to kind of go through these willy nilly. I really liked this one. And you can find these online. This goes
The
from
long history of oil prices.
Yes, 1861. And you're kind of in the, I don't know if we're in the road. I hope people can see this. I don't know how to, woohoo. I might be able to move it over to the side here.
I could see it all right.
Yeah, but whenever it does the recording, then it's a little, it's our pictures are over on the side. And so I'm hoping people can see this.
You don't have your screen
Still
set up the
trying
way
to
I do.
maneuver. I have a thing about not wanting to have to edit videos. So until somebody in our family learns how to properly edit videos, you're going to get raw trash from us, and it's great. Okay, so hopefully you'll like that. But yeah, this goes from all the way from 1861. Okay. Now, when the pioneers were coming out here across the prairie, they ran into oil bubbling up out of the ground. They, grease their wheels with it on their wagons and stuff and go on their way. But it was kind of a nuisance. So anyway, they've got that up over $120 a barrel here, which is wow. Back then,
right,
that is just hard for me to get. And it's saying US Civil War drives up commodity prices and tax on competing illuminant raises demand for oil. Interesting.
yeah, because they were using it for lights, for wheels, and there was a lot more than we realized that oil has been used for throughout history. It's not just been for cars and trucks.
So there's a lot of things, and I like that this particular thing here kind of gives a I can't remember, it's got several sources. I can't remember where this one came from. I'm so sorry, but I found it on Google Images. And they've got their source annotations and stuff. So if you want to pause the video and screenshot that, please do.
Now scroll back up to the top real quick. The long history of oil prices.
Yeah, so you can find that.
You can probably Google that pretty easily.
Yeah, and I think I put the links. So if I can remember whenever I upload this video on YouTube, I'll try to put the links. If you're listening to this on the podcast, I'm so sorry. You might look us up on YouTube if you want to see what we're talking about. But we've got oil history starting in 1861 is what they're documenting here. From 1862 to 1865, we've got the Civil War driving it up over $120 a barrel. 1865 to 1890, prices boom and bust with fluctuations in drilling, and they've got it up around $85-90 a barrel. And it kind of keeps going down through the years. It hits pretty low in 1969 here. And it's saying in the 1950s, Suez crisis takes 10% of the world's oil off the market, but production outside the Middle East stymies a price spike in the interim. So that's kind of interesting. And then, of course, in the mid 70s and late 70s and the 80s, we have a boom, and which really set off the communities out here in Northwest Oklahoma. And there in the 70s and 80s, it really took off and went over $100 a barrel again in that time period. And the Iraq War begins, and that was a big thing. In the 80s, demand response to supply shocks and pushes prices back down. So there in the 80s and early 90s, you're talking around 40-ish dollars a barrel. And then coming back up into the 2000s, it really bounces up and down between the $60 a barrel ish to the $120 a barrel. thing. And this goes all the way to 2014. So you've got various things through here, like 9/11 really made a difference in prices. Just several things that kind of make a difference in prices. This is
generally wars.
Yeah, wars can always cause you some great movement. Okay, I guess it doesn't want to go to the next.
Yeah, you have to zoom out a little. You zoomed in.
Oh, okay. Figure out the thing. There it is. Oil production. Here is another interesting thing, and it's talking about production by state. And this is interesting. How many barrels per state? And this was, let's see if we can see a date. Oh, this is actually a 2020. I'm sure they wouldn't have, yeah, this is a 2020 image that they've got here. Again, it's another image, United States, and state by state what the production is. So you've got Alaska at 164 million barrels, Texas at 1.8 billion, Oklahoma at 171 million, North Dakota at 431 million, California at 144 million barrels. I wonder how many taxes go to the California state government, how much they make. So
try not to leave their carbon footprint there.
Yes, this is a kind of an interesting thing that you would be kind of putting down the oil. And then
every time I look at the state of California, I am blown away by the hypocrisy of their leaders. It's ridiculous. I just can't even. You poor people. I am so sorry.
Yeah. So the next image we've got is petroleum product of the week, polyester, and it's got a picture of a t-shirt. So if you are against oil production, and then you need to think about that. Okay, petroleum products are made from we get gasoline is about 19.
And in case somebody doesn't know, petroleum products include, but are not limited to, country crock butter, quote unquote. A lot of your American cheeses are made out of petroleum products that you can eat. Yeah, like we said, polyester, also a petroleum product. Faux leather, also a petroleum product. Any chapstick, a petroleum product. Lots of lotions, lots of candles, petroleum products. So before you go jumping on how evil petroleum is, you might want to check out and see how many petroleum products you have. It's astounding.
Yeah, exactly. So the per barrel, where we talked about the highest that it has been per barrel is around $120 a barrel, and sometimes we'll drop down to $50 a barrel or below. And so the prices per barrel of oil coming out of the pumping units runs in between there. There's 42 gallons in a barrel. Now, each barrel of petroleum, you get about 19 gallons of gasoline, about 12 gallons of distillate, about 4 gallons of what would be considered jet fuel, and then about 6 gallons of other products.
Now, what would distillate be considered?
I'll have to get back to you on that. Somebody will know. Leave comments.
Leave a comment.
If your dad was in here, I could ask him, but he's not. But
well, I think
we'll get diesel into some of that.
I'm pretty sure diesel is a distillate.
I'm not sure, but yeah. And here's what you get at the pump is kind of the deal. So crude oil, and this is between 2009 and 2018, and then after 2019 or 18. So before 2018, you had the price per gallon on gasoline was based on about 60% crude oil, 16% taxes, 13% refining costs, and 12% distribution and marketing. Okay. But after 2018, you only had 56% crude oil, 17% taxes that had gone up, 13% refining costs and profits, and then 13%, which had also gone up, distribution and marketing. Now,
and now distribution and marketing is also generally tied to the federal and state taxes.
Oh, yeah.
So the two of them going up 1% each makes a lot of sense why they both went up.
The trucks, if you're just talking about the trucks that are hauling, they have to have special permits and stuff to haul the stuff. So there's special licenses, permits, and
placards. You got a ton of stuff involved in moving
the liability
petroleum
insurance.
Products.
Yeah, all of that kind of stuff goes into that. So if the price of fuel goes up, then the price of distribution goes up as well, because it takes fuel to distribute it.
And then if the federal government is putting taxes onto those petroleum companies that move all of that petroleum, raising their taxes to try and reduce a carbon footprint or whatever excuse they give. They've got endless excuses for why they raise taxes all the time on everybody.
Right.
But whatever excuse they give, if they raise those taxes, well, your CDL driver's license is going to cost you more this year. Your hazmat license is going to cost you more this year. Your placard is going to cost you more this year. Well, that's hitting those trucks and those truckers. And so they're going to have to raise their prices to make up for that. So taxes are the devil, man. What can I say?
Yeah, taxes are definitely the devil. Okay, hopefully I won't lose this. We may have to pause because I need to upgrade my Zoom.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so let's call this part A, and then let's come back to this, and
we can splice them.
Can we splice them?
Yeah.
You're gonna come over and splice it? Okay. Mom needs help. I got silver sprinkles, so whenever it comes to technology, I need help anymore. Okay, so the refining cost, that's a big thing. The taxes are frustrating as well, but the refining cost is part of this that irritates the dickens out of me, because the refining cost should be a minus on here, because the byproducts, the money they make off of the byproducts more than pay for the refining. Okay, and I'm just going to say that again. The money that they make off of the byproducts should more than pay for the refining. So there should not be a 13% refining cost here. That should be, they've got, especially whenever your byproducts cost more than your gasoline.
Yeah, it should be technically a negative. However, I will add though that they have, again, thank you, Mr. Government, have added on ridiculous standards for refinement of, say, diesel. Like diesel has gotten ridiculous because the laws and regulations for how you refine it have gotten ridiculous.
Exactly.
So they may really not be in the negative anymore because they are having to jump through 17 hoops before they can put it out on the market.
Yeah, I just don't even believe that. I think they're making plenty because the price of diesel.
I mean, they're oil companies. They're just as evil.
Well, generally. I don't think it's the oil. Who owns the oil companies, or who owns the biggest stock in the oil companies?
Oh yeah.
And if you want to find out, look up Oxy and find out who owns the biggest stock in Oxy. And that is an eye-opener, people. Okay, let's stop this session here, and if we can figure out how to put these together, we'll put this, but it might be better to do a part A and a part B.
It
So
could be if you wanted to.
yeah, okay, so to be continued, we will stop and then pop back in and
Hit your Control Shift R and
something.
stop your recording.
Yeah, is that how you do it?